Yeah, how do you play music through Google Meet?
I don't know. I've never actually even tried.
Man, look up how to play music via Google. Present a Chrome tab and ensure the audio sharing option is checked. That's it. YouTube Music or Spotify works well, it says. And Chrome, it works well with Google, obviously, it says. Makes sense.
This is fucking amazing.
Yeah, if I don't say what you just said every day, I'm not living. Yeah, on my end, I kind of hear it every once in a while. Super weird.
Mm-hmm. Oh. But mm, amazing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lost in the echo of a beautiful life. Oh, that's the moment now.
It's super clear in Zoom, bro.
Yeah, Zoom's optimized for musicians.
Oh, Dylan's calling me.
Put out the light, and then put out the light. Honest Iago, a snake in the warm sand. The jealousy consumes the soul. Lost in the echo of a beautiful life. Oh, there's the moment. Lost in the echo of a beautiful life. Oh, there's the moment.
No, we're doing a build. We're showing like the elements of actually getting deployments going without being too tied to stuff like go high level.
Yeah, just saw your notes.
Hey, Daryl, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
What's
Pretty
going
good.
on, Daryl? What's going on, Dylan? Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey,
We're
man.
just starting a
Good.
little
How are
bit.
you?
Hey, it's a beautiful day.
Hey,
We have been
thanks,
shipping
Daryl, here
today
with you.
and locking in on some beautiful, beautiful things.
Let me see it.
All right, let me drop the playlist. we'll get to it. That
I'm
intro.
at my bank where my business account is, and I'm going to head in here and see if the bank will do me a favor and let me take this meeting
Okay.
inside the bank on
I
my
always
laptop.
like going in person. I hate going on the phone.
Yeah. So, because they're having a mixer at 5 o'clock with for small businesses for funding.
Nice. Okay.
So
Okay. Is that the bank?
this is the bank I'm headed to now.
Nice, 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 nice.
SBAs.
Is it like a oh, that's cool. Is it meet and greet for people who are looking for funding?
That's my understanding. I'm just going to hang out here because I think it's a good opportunity
Mm-hmm.
without knowing all the details, just trusting my intuition.
That means you're listening.
All right. Thank you so much. Is Miss Lopez there?
No, she's not in yet.
Oh, okay.
She might be in a little bit later,
There's
but
an event here tonight, right?
correct.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask her, I know I'm a little early for the event, but I wanted to take my meeting here while I waited for the event. Is there someplace I can just hang
Do me a
in?
favor, just check in with the young ladies at the desk.
Okay.
Clear it with them and I don't have an issue.
I
Thank you
see
so
Dylan.
Okay.
He's tuning in too.
Hello. How
Whenever-
are you all? I am phenomenal, but I'll get better.
Oh, it's better than
And then,
that.
Yeah.
Dennis, while he's doing that,
So I was checking to see if Miss Lopez was around, but they tell me she's not going to be here
Route.
until the event.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
So I've got a meeting that I need to take. And I'm wondering if I can just squat somewhere and take this meeting while I wait for the event.
We kind of need to use that room over there.
Okay.
And I think there's a.
Yeah, I can.
Well, I mean, you could use it for now.
For that room now?
There's a room over there. We're not
Hey,
over there right
Dylan, can you hear us?
It's not for like the event.
Of
But
course.
yeah.
I hear you now.
Oh,
Oh, nice. Hey, Dylan.
Thank you. Okay. We've got clearance.
We got someone.
Got clearance. I
You're
love
on like you're like James Bond, and you're like in your ear.
it. I love this.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, Jonathan,
What's going on, my big brother? What's going on?
man, I'm an entrepreneur trying to find my balance.
Oh, good
So,
luck.
you know how that is.
I'll see you in the next life.
Yeah. It is a 24/7 job, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Who's my new friend?
Daryl, I would love for you to meet Chandler Dufour, my ace in the space of agentic AI.
Oh man.
Oh, wow.
Chandler, this is Daryl. He is going to tell you that he's not a genius, but he is absolutely a thinker and a seer into the future of music and tech, which is why we immediately knew that there was some spark here. And Dylan, I had the pleasure of meeting you just now. Go ahead and unmute if or we can, or Chandler if you want to talk or whatever. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dylan, if
What's
you
up?
can
Good to meet you guys.
put your video camera on too, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
Oh, we got more
Sorry, I'm
friends?
trying to
Oh,
get
how
it
about
all
this?
connected. Apparently, Zoom is. Apparently, I have no settings set up on here.
Yeah, as
But
long
my
as you
audio is
allow it.
jacked. My audio was like connected to my microphone earlier, and I was like, I'm not hearing anybody. Anyways, we're good now.
Hey,
Let
when
me
that-
connect this camera.
Yeah, while you do that, I'll give you like a soft intro. So yeah, Dylan, he's a Go High Level cat, and
Oh.
he's there and he's deep in CRM and Google and Meta ads. And
All right, we're good.
Dylan, you won the content engine post on my school community, so you're gonna be the first one to get the content engine.
Oh, sweet. Let's go.
Nice.
So yeah, Dennis and he cooked up a space here for the fundamentals for website creation without using systems like Go High Level.
Yep.
Just in case you ever want to get off of Go High Level someday. That's the foundation set here. And yeah, Dennison will be leading that. And Dennison, will we have space to show Dylan the content engine that I cooked up for him?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's so good to meet all y'all. Or to meet with you all. So check it out. I finally got some clarity on what I actually wanted to say. The one-liner that I want to really bring home in this last little bit of content for creatives and creative entrepreneurs. That's an interesting thing. It's a double entendre. I didn't mean it to be. When I say creatives, I'm thinking about people who work in the intangible spaces. Like sometimes it's coaching, sometimes it's speaking, sometimes it's music, sometimes it's dance. Some like things that artists might not have acted as if they were a business for because it comes naturally to them, but things that we can monetize because it is a skill. So dialing back down, one of the first things I ever did was create a Sigil Bloom. Sigil Bloom was the first time I actually sat with myself and said, what am I doing in this world? For some reason, I'm into tech. For some reason, I'm into weddings. For some reason, I'm a sax player. I want to play jazz. For some reason, I want to just bang up and play dubstep. And sometimes I just want to do some graphic design. And I'm not those things. But if I speak in one place about being a sax player, do I have legitimacy to a person that needs a graphic designer? And this kind of thing happens to artistic people. It's because we happen to be able to see infinity. I believe it's like all these things are possible, but possible doesn't mean sales. It just means confused avatars. Oftentimes, right? So the beautiful thing about the struggle that I've gone through with Jack's community. Are you in Jack's community, by the way, Dylan?
No, he's not. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
We met locally. We're both in the same area.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so over the last year, automations has been the main driver for how I've fixed my business, how I've seen that there is a system behind these intangible things. And in fact, whether we know it or not, I think the best people do know it. It's just also that the best people who know it are in a system that they're used to and that didn't have to deal with CRMs and agents and the just the different landscape of technology that we have going on as creatives. A, it's an advantage for people who care to dig into it. B, it's a disadvantage for people who think it's not necessary or have been taught by, let's say, millennials. I'm gonna take that on my generation. Millennials who didn't think that it's important to move on with the tech, or boomers that have established in their business and don't really need it. Like they're gonna get a phone number and a text. Sorry, phone call and a text, and they'll get the gig. So the question I have is, how does AI actually help artists? Not because we're dealing with generation and music music generation or graphic generation. Although I do love that, it's what's the business mindset, first of all, that you have to have, because your artistic skills in combination makes it so that you're one of one. And how do we connect that to things that actually work, that every business has to do? So that's where I live. That's where Blues Prince Media lives in general. And so I brought in Daryl because I was like, listen, this is a beautiful opportunity to show, actually in scale. And I wanted to bring you up, Daryl. You could just explain any of your concepts and actually. I'll ask you this, Daryl. What is your why when it comes to helping musicians? That'll probably segue. And however you want to answer that, with either what you're working on or what you care to work on, or what you how you think, whatever that is for you, you can go ahead and talk to us, brother.
Daryl cloned himself too. You're muted, my guy.
Hate it when that happens.
Yeah.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I was talking to someone about that very question of why I'm doing this. During the pandemic, I told them that musicians were crucified during the pandemic, those of us who perform live. And I got a gig to play at a swanky downtown restaurant, a jazz set, and it was only my fourth gig in 2 years. So at the end of, it was February 17th, 2022, that I ended up, no, the gig was March 17, 2022. A month prior to that, February 17, 2022, I had done everything I could to survive for 2 years. And after 2 years, I ran out of options. And on February 17th, I ended up going to the Salvation Army to sleep in the displacement center. And I was there for a month. On March 17th, I got this sweet gig paying top of the market rates. And I made a ton of money on that one gig, and I was able to bounce up out of that displacement center, and I haven't looked back since. The world opened up. There were plenty of gigs. My phone was blowing up, and I was able to find a place to stay, and et cetera. Jamie Foxx did a movie, a true story, Juilliard trained cellist who had a schizophrenic episode, and he ended up on Skid Row in Los Angeles. And a LA Times reporter, played by Robert Downey Jr., discovered this young man who was a cello virtuoso, and helped him to get his life back on track and get a place to stay. And so I was telling my friends that movie is more common than you know. I met so many amazing professional musicians when I was in this place for that 1 month. And we actually formed a band, and I was the band leader, and we would play the worship services for the Salvation Army on Sunday mornings. And they actually ended up hiring me to do that. And so they were hiring me I was getting paid in the place where I was also sleeping. And so I decided that when you lose your address, you don't lose your talent. You just need somebody to be able to notice that you still have talent. And I want to be the guy who notices that people still have talent when they are at crossroads or meeting difficulties, and build the tech that helps musicians to never have to experience what I experienced or what that Juilliard trained cellist experienced. And so that's one of my strong whys.
Beautiful. That story is, man, when you told me that story the first time, first of all, that second half of the story is amazing. And it is true. It's so right. That story, everyone who's even in the similar situation or in the music world might know somebody that's that's in that way. It could be as simple as just not knowing how to get yourself out of that, with your talent, or it could be as complex as that, in addition to the life life being life. So it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, I resonate with that because it's similar, right? Like when I saw that I didn't know basics of business, and I don't know, I started paying for mentors 5 years ago. I felt like I just started getting it. What's unfortunate for me, like I know I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it that way. Excuse me. What I thought was unfortunate for me when I was in a victim mindset. I was wondering why I was 16 years old and all the adults around me couldn't teach me how to LLC stuff, how to properly save, what does investment look like in arts. You know, even when you have music teachers, they don't talk about these kinds of things. And it's unfortunate because actually the teachers are the most comfortable musicians we know. You know, I don't know a lot of musicians with 401ks and health insurance that is paid by the state. You know, so it's not the same thing, and it's not good advice. Here's the fun story for you. Because I will remember this student forever. She came to me, Mr. Blackett, I want to be in a band, this and this and that. And she started doing her own thing, coming after school, organizing musicians. So you see that the talent that she has is actually organizing and musical. And she was like, I want to go to Berkeley and I want to do this and I want to go on tour. And she's talking about this, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. Let me nurse you and how's it going? So I started talking to her about business. Thankfully, this is about the time where I had mentors. And I remember, that was just for a time, she was doing the band thing, and then it slowed down. And I was like, hey, Catherine, what happened? And then she told me, it's like, oh, well, I had a conversation with the parents and some teachers, and, you know, they talked to me about this. And long story short, I wonder if you could tell where this story is going, Al. What do you think her teachers, suggested that she did? Go to school for
Get a real job.
Yeah. So I'm like, you're going to go to Berklee College of Music, the most modern school. Like, she's like into K-pop and playing saxophone and like doing like pop songwriting and stuff like that. And she was convinced by everyone who's not a music teacher or music teachers who are comfortable to become a music teacher, go for education. Now, perhaps she was a teacher, but it's interesting how you can convince someone within their own field to create a fallback, and that fallback is a distraction. The phrase is "burn the ships." It keeps coming up. Burn the ships, right? If you said that there's no way in on God's green earth that I'm going to do anything different than be a touring saxophonist, then you went to Berklee, and with that mindset, I promise you, if that's what you wanted to do, the 16 credits, the 8 classes, the 40 hours a day of practicing makes it worth it because you have a North Star. But that distraction, especially without a plan, because either way, to be a teacher, you have to have a plan. You know, it's a different plan. And to be a musician, you have to have a different plan. And maybe you could do both. That's a third plan, right? But I noticed that a lot of people were actually were taking her dream, filtering it through limiting beliefs and saying, here, this is safe for you. And that's the thing I want to fight. A lot of people are giving musicians or artists this false sense of security because they, I don't know, a salary. I don't know. Has anyone seen The Economy? So you know, what's better, fulfillment and learning what you actually want and need in life or not. So that's where a lot of my solutions come in. So how I get into automations? It's actually let's flash forward to the future. Here's what it's going to look like. The solution is going to look like a CRM, a social media plan that actually makes sense. Whether the CRM is Google Sheets or Go High Level, I don't care. The concept is the same, right? Like whatever. Like it could be your phone. Some people's CRM is literally the fact that they remember some people's phone number. I don't know, whatever it is, right? Because the concept is the same. And you know, what if you don't have $100 from a month for Go High Level? Like I don't know. Like, do you have Google Workspace for 20? You know, like whatever it might work. Because the concept is that we have to understand how businesses work that are successful, and then figure out how we work as a successful artistic entrepreneur, and bridge the gaps. And that translation gap is, I think, what those teachers, those professors couldn't give those young people. And that's where I'm creating these solutions. That's where the school group is going and all that. And hopefully that's making sense. And now I said that, Dylan, what do you think about CRMs and artists and like what have you seen in that world?
Dennison, real quick.
Go ahead.
Instead of artificial intelligence, art official.
I'm writing it down.
Too smooth.
I love that.
Daryl liked that one too. I saw.
Yeah, because don't you love
over there?
There's actually an underlying theme. Like things like this is like sometimes it's right in front of your face,
Right, right.
That was good. That was rich.
right?
That was good.
Awesome.
So, yeah, Dylan, what you tuning into over there? What you thinking?
Dude, yeah. Yeah, CRMs. I agree with what you said. You can use anything. It's funny enough. I've been looking at different. Yeah, I don't want to dig too deep into that. Like, love high level, right? But at the same time, what you just said, like, you don't need it. You can use so much other crap. I just built something on Claude the other day that was just like just to organize my crap in a different way. That's customizable to me. But anyway, sorry.
Would
Yeah,
you
I'm
say-
happy. Do what?
But yeah, to me, what you're saying, I would say the biggest difference that comes to mind is, yes, they do the same things, they deliver the same things. I would say it's about, say, if we all had a Go High Level account, what would happen if we all had a Go High Level account? We would be speaking the same language.
Right.
If we all use Claude, we would be speaking the same. If we all use pen and paper, we would be speaking the same language. And so that's really the challenge today, is like getting everybody to speak the same language. You know, me and you, Dylan, talk about this all the time. It's like when we first connected, it's like this Tower of Babel that we're stepping into. And the people who can focus on getting on the same page, whether it's a digital page or a physical page, or it's just your passion page, that's really the who is going to distinguish those who are able to get what I call above the line or below the line. And above the line is people who have to ask, or people who are below the line, they have to ask permission to be an artist or a business owner. And the people who are above the line don't need to ask for permission.
Yeah, it really speaks towards like sovereignty and just owning your space, and that part of that sovereignty really is knowing how the tech works. For me, I had a post the other day, and I'm really critical of artists, to be honest. Maybe because I have this sense of, well, it's still your responsibility. It might not be your fault. Oh, society this, and no one taught me that. But if I said no one taught me this and everything like that, then there's no point in me practicing by, like, you got to practice. Who got to tell you? Like, you got to put in reps. Who got to tell you? And guess what? That person who did more got those gigs in front of you, like, right? Those person that did more anything, right? Sometimes it's more practice. Sometimes it's actually more outreach. You didn't call it outreach. You just called it hanging out with your friends at Wally's every week because you're top of mind. But a lot of people wouldn't think of it that way. Putting yourself in those places. As simple as even being in the right city. There was an artist the other day. She was talking. Ironically, she was from Texas. I just moved to Texas. She was from Houston, Texas, and she was like, "Oh, I'm in Boston, and it just seems like this is not the place for me, and people are really like this." I'm like, why the goodness gracious did you move to Boston then? Like, I did a whole take this prompt, anybody who's listening, right? You go to every single city that is part of your 1% skill. I was looking for tech and music and other things too, graphic design, blah, blah. But essentially it was tech, music, and AI and all the things that's happening. So why would you think I would end up in Austin, Texas? Well, Elon Musk likes Austin, Texas, and so do a lot of great musicians. Samsung is about to have a data center making chips. Meanwhile, I can get some of the most exclusive wedding gigs in this city. Like, so which is more valuable just to be in, right? Let's say it costs you the same exact money to live in Boston as it does to live in Austin. What city's more valuable in that case, right? Like, that's the kind of thinking that a lot of people wouldn't even think. Just being in the right place, being in the right situation. That's in the city level. That's in the country level. I was looking at Africa. I was like, give me the top 10 cities in Africa that a tech musician could live.
Or the top 3 Zoom calls to be a part of.
What's that?
Or the top 3 Zoom calls.
Exactly. Because we're getting that sauce, you know. What I like about this era though is and by the way, Mauritius. Have you ever seen pictures of Mauritius?
The place, the
It's
place.
Madagascar,
Mm.
Mauritius. It's an island off of Madagascar, and it is gorgeous. And also, they call it the Singapore of Africa.
That's where I'm setting up harbor for sure someday. I can see it.
They have this place called the Underwater Falls. Everybody Google it, maybe. But anyway, the point is, are we thinking about these things in a way that's actually going to help, like positioning, literal physical positioning, but also now positioning in SEO and all that can go down. So at the very end of this, like I was saying, I figured out the simplest way, something that allows you to vibe code, something that allows you to host your website and do proper SEO visibility stuff for the Google, and whatever CRM of your choice, and that's in parentheses, because what if you can do it with no money, or how far can you get in the smartest systems without having to spend the most because you're just one person? If I'm a photographer doing weddings, man, can you imagine, Chandler? How much do you think it'll cost to right now? If someone said, okay, I'm going to go to the smartest expert, and they're going to tell me 5 minutes of game, and by the end of it, I'm going to have an SEO website, and it's going to be online and
Oh my God.
pushed everything. How much would it actually cost someone if they just got the prompt and did it? What do you think?
Oh, actual or how much?
Actual price, yeah. Like if they did it themselves, how much?
Almost nothing. Almost nothing.
I know we shouldn't say that, man. We're charging,
Oh man, sorry.
right? But we don't charge for the service. We charge for the ability to do it for you, you know, like and obviously, right? Just like, you know, how much does it cost to play saxophone? No, almost nothing, right?
Right.
You know, it's not really how it works, right?
That's a good analogy. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people don't think of it like that.
Right.
They think, oh, they're because they're stuck in the old frame still. And then once you get into that new frame, which I call the abundance economy, that's when things start to click more. And you look at people in relationships as opportunities, not competition, for example.
For sure.
And it takes having conversations like this to calibrate to that new way of thinking. And sometimes, like for me, it's painful. Like, because sometimes I'm like, oh man, I can't hang out with this person anymore because they keep dropping prompts and saying things to me that just don't align with anything that's true.
Right. And another, you know, it's interesting. What do you think, Daryl, about this? This is an interesting thought. I just finished off with a beautiful client, and I'll pitch it to you. I finished off with a client, and she said, it was essentially, I needed to become the person that did the thing so I could do the thing, because she didn't realize that it wasn't the work that I was going to do for her. It was the work like that she believed that could be done in her world. What do you think?
Well, yeah, that's where we come in. Those of us who are who know the craft or the skill, because they know that it needs to be done, but they don't know, either they don't know how to do it or they don't want to know. And in either case, that presents the opportunity for us to begin to charge them for that service. So we either do it mostly for them, or do it with them, or mostly for them, or flat out do it for them.
Yeah.
Done for you services, software as a service.
How does your concept come into it? I really loved the way that you're solving this with music.
Well, you and I are kind of unique as musicians because my mom was a piano and vocal prodigy, and her whole side of the family were musical geniuses. My dad's whole other side of the family were entrepreneurs and educators. So I got it honest from both sides. Most musicians are so spiritually connected till they don't have the pragmatic business skills. That's not where they're strong. And so they need managers, and they need, is it time for me to leave? Okay. So they need managers and agents and lawyers. And too often the problem is those middle people are unscrupulous, and they abuse the fact that the artist's innocence or the artist's naivete. So what we bring to the table, you and I, is we bring ethical tech and business solutions that we can do for the artist. And being artists ourselves, we really understand their pain points in a very visceral way. We also understand how to connect with their audience because that's what we do as artists. We know how to connect with audiences and how to sell our craft. And so, in our case, we, for what we do, the 80% of the artists are going to need us to do that for them, and maybe 20% are like you and me, Dennis, and we actually happen to know both sides of the operations side as well as the talent side of the business of music.
Yeah, for sure. And it's amazing how it's one of those things where I could bring up the phrase "it's simple but not easy," right? It's like the concept once
Precisely.
you bring it up, it's like, oh, right, of course. You know, have an email list, own it yourself. You know, Instagram is not yours; they could take down your account. What are you going to do if you had 10,000 followers but never followed up with them? Like all these kinds of things start to get really. You start to see the connection between what the value of your network is, what the value of your systems could be.
And Dennison,
Yeah,
and Daryl, I sec everything you said about the balance between the emotional side of us or emotional spiritual side, and those aren't the same thing, but that side of us that's less grounded usually, and then having a structured side of us, it's really the differentiator between every successful business owner or even I would say human being. And I'm curious, I know Dylan that you've been hectic for a while and you're a little bit low bandwidth at the moment, you told me. But I'm curious, I'd like I know you've been building and working with Go High Level and you've just been getting your feet wet with all these new tools. And I know you also like to be more grounded and walk through some of these business solutions. What are some hurdles that you're experiencing that are emerging for you that you feel inclined to speak to with everything that we're talking about? Some business hurdles.
Yeah. Um, I think I'm trying to think like so maybe similar to what y'all were talking about was like I think utilizing the right tools, right? So it's like we have these tools in front of you and it's well before like dude, I used to have such a big like and I would always be like under the impression of like, dude, this is so easy. Like anybody could just kind of learn this. And I'm like, why would you ever pay me like X amount, you know? So I was never
Right.
confident in like pricing things like that. Now that it's shifting slowly, so I feel more confident. Like in business, it's me and my it's a family run business for you guys that don't know. But like so finally we're able to like start charging more and stuff, and that's been really good. I still haven't been able to really utilize in this example maybe like Claude and things for much of what we do. It's helping us internally for our side, but for our client side, it hasn't really helped all that much, I guess, in the way of like what I've talked with Chandler, it's helped us on our side, but not something that we specifically will sell to our clients. Like I just built a way for example, my clients sell sheds, right? They need ways to like upload inventory. So similar to like listings for a house, right? So I basically built a system that would do exactly that. Besides the fact that realtors already have that built out, but this is for my shed guys, and so it worked really, really well. But the thing is like that's cool and all, but it's not something that they extremely need. So right now I'm at this point of like trying to figure out, hey, what do these guys need? And so like me and dad had a conversation today and we were just thinking through like the process of like, hey, there's a lot of marketing agencies out there. And like I think we do a good job, but we're probably not the best out there. And I'm like, what can we do better? I'm like, our pricing is typically lower than these high crazy agencies. But for us it's that's even with our new pricing. And I feel like we deliver a much better result and we get our clients results at a lesser price, right? When you're talking like ads and things like that. But today it's like in a way almost like the offer. What can we do that stands out? And it's like I think that's more like the difficult thing. I think AI is super helpful with like systems and things like that, but we use things like high level already and it works for our clients and it alleviates us from having to do back ends for things like that. So like that's why we use high level, and that's why we like using it and don't plan to switch away anytime soon, because if we go build a system, now we're the ones responsible for it. When high level has an outage or something like that, connections break, they deal with it. Like yesterday, for example,
Right.
that little inventory uploader thing I was telling you about, super awesome. But we have a client who posts inventory to Facebook, and they apparently get all these sales. So he wouldn't want to post in two different places, right? So I was like, okay, how can I get him to use my new interface for listings or new sheds as inventory on this website, but then it also posts to Facebook. And when I did that, I was like, okay, going through the process. And I didn't even know, like, you can make your own app within Meta and all this kind of stuff. And it was walking me through the process, but it got into so much with tokens and things that expire. And like, dude, it fried my brain yesterday. And I was like, oh my goodness. But then today I was like, I didn't think about this. I was like, I wonder if I could talk with like my system with Claude using that interface that I made and talk to high level, because high level already has all that stuff worked out. Like you can post to Facebook and all that within high level. So I was like, I wonder if I could just connect the Facebook page super easily to high level and then have it post whenever they upload a new listing, and also post straight to Facebook by running through high level and then to Facebook, if that makes sense. So anyways, that was something we went on today. Long story short, it's cool, but it's not necessarily like super valuable. I think that's where I'm now. It's like trying to learn
Like
where.
what we were talking about, Dennison, like the automation loop, and to tie into what Daryl said, when you have a certain type of clientele that are just, I want the solution, I don't care how you do it, just give me the end product. As the ones providing the solution, is this battle. It's like, how much do I want to tailor the solution and use something like Claude, which can really create anything, or do I want a tailored solution with Go High Level and just give them what they need? And so it comes down to really like you said, Dylan, accountability and responsibilities. Like, what do we want to be accountable for and responsible for? And also tying that to how much the value offering costs, either a continuous currency, retainer, or a flat fee. It's in every niche and every industry is different.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite
Yeah.
things in the entire internet is Reddit. Now, it's so underrated. I didn't realize how underrated Reddit is, because it's okay. How do I say this? You know how Yelp is like the place where you can find out what's wrong with a restaurant? Reddit is where you can find out what's wrong with anything. Or at least what people are complaining
Genuine
about.
community. Signal, yeah.
Signal. It's a lot of it's not, it's actually just talking. It's just forum. It's people just yapping, right? But what's beautiful about that is, somebody in Reddit, somebody in some kind of review, your competitors' negative reviews, is insight as to what isn't out there as a solution or is difficult as a solution. And my favorite thing as a research topic is I'm going to go to Reddit and say, Jazz Educator, I made an app. I said, what apps are out there, and what are students, the users, complaining about? They're not the buyer, but they're the user, and the school is the buyer. So if the students are like, oh, this is not really done, and the teachers are like, oh, it's not really helping, but this is the best I got, and teachers don't have time to develop, I know that. If I say, okay, what are students and teachers having a problem with that the administration is going to buy if it's cheap enough? Ask Claude that, and that research is amazing, because now it says, okay, these apps are the top 10 apps, and then these are the top 10 complaints of each app, and basically you build everything based on that. And that's the custom thing, because it's not out there, so you're not wasting tokens, and then you wrap it into things that are solutions, like basic things, right? It's kind of what I did with my own CRM. I use Go High Level, but before I had to scale to that point, what's nice is that I had just what I needed at every moment. And just what you needed is like it started with those problems. I hope that made sense, right? So
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Focus on what is actually needed, and what that means on the client side. What are they willing to pay for and how much?
Yeah.
And then reverse engineer from their felt felt pain point, because there's a difference between what they're saying and then their felt pain point. And so that's really, really, really
And
important.
oftentimes they don't know what they don't know. And wait, I don't. It's not even they. I should sometimes I don't know what I don't know. Right? Like right? Like
No,
I don't know the pain that I can't. I have to figure it out. I don't know the pain that you can't articulate, and you don't know it because it's a blind spot. But it's because of the status quo. It's not because of like your. It's not because of dumb. It's not because it's literally it is a blind spot. The tech didn't exist. It's someone else's tech solution was given it to. That's actually a big problem in music, where it's like the subtleties of the musician's way. Developers don't really understand that. So when we could bridge that gap, of course we're going to have our own CRM that understands audio, preferences and just understands things a little differently and workflows a little differently because of the nature of it, right? So that's my biggest suggestion. That it's not my original one. That one actually I got from our buddy Will because he was like, oh, you got to check out Reddit. Because people will tell you the whole sauce, and a lot of people are just going to complain about it. But you're just going to be like, you literally just told me what my business move is going to be.
I feel like the common category between all of us here on the Zoom call is aligned clientele. And also we all want solutions that can get us the aligned client avatar. So that's one. Two is once that aligned client avatar is in a booking, either in person or digitally, how do you meet them where they're at to get their pain point articulated that's felt and they can articulate it? And ideally get them to say a number and then reverse engineer from like, hey, this is my desired outcome. I want to sell 10 sheds. Okay, reverse engineer from the metrics of the value of those 10 sheds, and that's your offering. And then the third one is, okay, once that happens, how do I put as much light and exposure to that process as much as possible, either internally within my team or exposure to other communities where they can see how much value we're producing. And that starts like what I sent you, Dylan, the community content and outreach flywheels or engines.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's like what I would love to see with even within this Zoom calls like this. But I want more people to start talking. It's like, how do we start or stop rather building in isolation, talking in isolation, and communicating in isolation?
Yeah. It's there's somewhere out there. There's a better saxophone player than me, but he's still in the practice room because he didn't believe that he was good enough. So he's practicing away. I'm sitting there honking notes and making bad notes and having a good time jumping off tables because there's a fine balance. To be crude with the example, I think reverse prompting is an underrated skill. Thinking from the solution and actually imagining. But you know why artists are great at this? Because that's what we do. My jazz analogy is we hear the melody before we play it. And it's as simple as that. You're like, oh, really? And a lot of people don't know that, Daryl, by the way. They don't know that we're actually seeing into the future and creating it. But it's what do you think is happening with a painter? Yeah, you have an image in your mind, but like then you get to the process from A to B, and there's maybe changes in the middle. But even with code, I found that's super important, like knowing your North Star. So if you knew Myron Gaines is great for this. If you obsessed about the problem of the client so much that even they're like, oh, I didn't even realize it, that means you have an offering that is something worth it. And to give you that nugget, hopefully that Reddit thing helps you, Dylan, because going from that reverse prompting, you say scan Reddit, tell me in this niche what it is, and tell me the top 10 things in an app, in a CRM, whatever it might be, and build an app around that. It's going to give you a really good assessment. And then once you put that in front of somebody, you could ask them, hey, how much time does this save you? How much money does this save you? Reverse engineer that, and you have an offer. And you didn't even have to think about it. You just have to solve a problem.
You have to show up to your Claude terminal.
Yeah.
And show up to the meeting.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Yeah, we were talking today, like trying to figure out offers. We're like, what can we do as like a lead magnet? Because I sent the whole inventory thing I was talking about my buddy, and he was like, he's the one who brought that up. He's like, dude, that's a great lead magnet. He was like, you should just throw that out there and be like, dude, offer to do it for free. And he was like, people that take that and then you can watch and monitor, and if they don't use it for X amount of time, right, kick them. But he was like, if the guys that do use that, he's like, that's probably the clients you really want to work with. And he was like, then you go offer one, offer more to them, right? Go
Yeah.
and you build their trust at that point. So he said that, and I think that's good. He's not in our industry, but I was like, I know stuff like that works. I've done stuff like that, but I guess I'm looking for like this really good thing. And maybe that's my problem. Maybe I'm looking too hard to find something that seems kind of perfect. But I'm like,
Optimization loop.
Yeah, yeah. It's easy to do because there's a lot of cool stuff. Don't get me wrong. Like that's like okay. There's the creative coder in me, and then there's the okay, like someone already built that. Like, and that's why the Reddit North Star is kind of cool because like between someone already built that and nah, something's missing is that real solution. And maybe like maybe you'll start you grab them here and then you start pulling them to like, hey, but this is cool. And that's your upsell and the stuff later. But I think the problem solved will create the new problem anyway. So
yeah,
it maybe like I said, thinking about it from reverse engineering was helped me get out of my own head and actually helped me stop building because I was like, well, all right, this maybe just suggest that they buy a $20 subscription, and that's actually the best console that you can have, whatever it might be. So I'm gonna do this. Let's see. I'm gonna talk to my agent for a second. All right, Calvin, this is what we're gonna do. I would like to talk about first principles, reverse prompting, and using a research loop, like finding something like Reddit, forums like Yelp, anything that is the problem center of a certain niche, where the people are, where they're complaining about their product, where they're saying the best and the worst of it. And what we're going to do is create a prompt that anybody can use so that they can create a lead magnet that is a minimum viable product for their niche, and also create a solution that either is going to be a custom app or is a suggestion of a series of apps that already exist. The goal is to reduce the noise so that we can help our clients the best.
Bro, I love it. Like the reverse engineering, reverse prompting plane. You fly to, 20,000 feet, you get the perspective, and they're like, all right, we're going to land this plane. And then you start reverse engineering from their problem. And so I'm curious, prompt, like what you just did, like creating a prompt. I feel like that, like giving clients something they can always take away every time you can like interact with them is such an amazing thing that I'm learning. It's like, hey, always give value. Don't leave with this ambiguity and this, like, always have a touch point, always give something when you're doing your touch point.
Yeah. I had an old mentor that said something that was interesting. He was actually talking about talking to girls, right? He's like, you're not creepy if you're leading with value. It's like, if you're inviting them to an event that you're going to go anyway, you're not trying to do, it's not a date. It's like, no, it's like, I already got tickets. We're going to do this. Come on by. You're inviting them to something that you're already doing. You're already solving the problem. You're like, oh, did you know that I have the solution? And that way you're not selling to them. You're not selling, you're not trying. It's like, no. The way I think is the problem that you already solved. Did you realize that this is a blind spot? Oh, yeah, I already figured out the money that actually saves you, because technically this is, well, you said your time is worth $250 an hour. If I could save you 10 hours a week, and I think I just saved you $2,500 a week. Would it be valuable to you to save you $2,500 a week? Okay, what if I charge you 10% of that? Would that be valuable? It's like all the thinking's gone away. You keep solving their problem. You even solve the math problem that they have to figure out.
I got your link right here, Daryl. Starting with why. It's such a powerful.
Well, Chandra asked me what I was working on. So I dropped in 2 links. One link is a summary of the why that I spoke of earlier. The second link answered Chandler's question, what projects am I working on? And with that said, I'm going to have to jump off, guys. I put that in the chat a little bit earlier that I had a hard stop in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's perfect because we actually it's we have 6 more minutes. We're gonna have a hard stop at my 6 o'clock. I don't know where everybody's time zone is, but I'm actually working on that prompt now. It's gonna be in a Notion file, and I will be posting this on YouTube, gentlemen. Is that gonna be all right? Cool. In that YouTube link, I'll have this prompted in there. It's just going to be available for everyone to check out. It's a beautiful way to think about it, and I hope that really helps. Chandler, take us away. You have any cool wisdom, last words? I've been talking too much.
Yeah, so what you just did with the prompt, so I don't know, I know Dylan, you're getting into Claude agents. Really zoom out and really think about, let's get on that plane that we just talked about. Really zoom out and think, oh, Daryl popped off. Shouldn't want to kind of tell him bye. Really zoom out and like think about like what we have access to. Like we have in intelligence that we can communicate with, and depending on how coherent your words are, it can go out and route to find a solution and bring it back to you. That's amazing. And so what I've done with that inspiration is I just simply talk to my agents and I say, hey, reflect back to me what I'm saying. And if I get a feeling in my body of like, that doesn't make sense, I just keep doing that until it makes sense. I'm like, that's a full body yes feeling. And then once I get that full body yes feeling, I ask my agent, can you make a skill for that? What we just did, can you make that a skill? Because that's what human beings do. And then once it has that skill, now it has a reflection skill. When it has a reflection skill, and once it has that reflection skill, then you can reflect on that level. And then you reflect about something that you're the most passionate about. Then you create that skill. It's called a capstone skill or a 1% skill in the Jack space. Once you have your capstone skill, then you create what's called a line or a vector towards your definite chief aim or desired outcome for that session. And then you get comfortable with it. And then once you're confident to the point that you can see interacting with this agent long term and you like the interaction, you give it your like 5-year North Star or your definite chief aim. And then you do what's called, you make that a skill. And then you do what's called desequencing or reverse engineering from there and say, what are the steps that I need to take to get to this point? And it will tell you, it will literally tell you exactly what you need to do, logically speaking, and all you need to do is show up. And so that's how I use my agents. And it's, for me, the only thing that's limiting me is just translating that to other people so they feel the same feeling that I felt like 2.5 years ago when that hit me. And so that's been that's my share moment, for my talking stick moment.
I absolutely love that. That's so good because it's like I hope everyone saw the meta of the meta of the meta. It's like, it depends on your Zoom level. I love that, Chandler. Awesome. What do you got, Dylan? What do you think for the people? So,
Man, I think it's great.
yeah, I think it's great. Awesome, man. Well, everybody, I really appreciate y'all coming here. Nice to meet you, Dylan. It was a beautiful pleasure. As always, Chandler, you are an inspiration of intelligence that I steal ideas from all the time. All right. we'll
Part intelligence. He's part AI, dude.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. What do we? Oh, wait. Remember at the beginning, artificial intelligence. That was amazing. So that'll probably be the name of this show. Who knows? But after that, gentlemen, thank you so much, and you have a beautiful rest of your evening, and we'll talk soon. All right.
Good to meet you.
All right. Likewise. Peace.
Peace.